folks in there, but God had a plan just for him.
He did.
Sometimes God has a plan just for you.
That's true. The
Do
Lord,
something
that's for you.
Thank you, Lord.
for you. And this man was chosen at this time.
Amen.
And what's so interesting about this, because we get a chance to see the mind of God and how God works. So this is Jesus. Every time Jesus at work, that's the mind of God. So when Jesus went there and he told the man to rise and be healed, he could have just said, go ahead and walk. But he said, get your bed up and walk. And Jesus knew exactly what he was doing because on the Sabbath day, you don't do no work. And that's including carrying a bed.
That's right.
So we're going to find out why Jesus knew that this was going to bring what he called trouble, but it wasn't trouble for him. It was a setup by God.
Okay.
And he knew God was using him at this appointed time. So the man, when he was walking around, the Jews asked him, what you doing walking around carrying a bed? And see, you stand out. You stand out when you carrying the bed, nobody else ain't doing that.
Exactly.
So you was able to spot him right away. Well, he said, this man told me to take up my bed and walk. And he said, well, who is this man? He said, I don't know. After he healed me, he left out from the crowd. Then later on, Jesus came back and told him, you go and sin no more, a worse thing will come upon you. And then he found out who Jesus was. And so when he found out who Jesus was, he went back and told the Jews who Jesus was, what his name was. And so Jesus, so they came to Jesus, and verse 16 said this, and there did the Jews persecute Jesus. In other words, they wanted to do something to him.
They wanted to.
They wanted to do something to him. And you know why they wanted to do something to him? Because on the Sabbath day, you don't supposed to do no work. Now, let me make this clear. That was correct. That was the law of God. God told on the Sabbath day, you don't do anything. But God wasn't that serious about picking up a bed. It wasn't that serious. They made it serious. So on the Sabbath day, no, you didn't do no work. You weren't supposed to do no work. They were basing that on when the children of Israel out there, and God told the children of Israel, you can gather up all the food you want, but on the seventh day, don't go out there and just gather no food. So they took it to the extent. But Jesus knew that they would come, and Jesus knew that they were going to come, and they was going to try to kill him, and from the position of what the Sabbath day represents, that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to stone you to death if you don't do certain specific things. They'll stone you to death.
That's right.
And kill you. And Jesus knew that.
You know.
He knew that. But guess what? No, I ain't gonna jump in. It's too good. So he said, and therefore did the Jews persecute Jesus and sought to slay him, kill him, because he had done these things on the Sabbath day. So they feel justified. You know, sometimes you feel justified in something you're doing, but God didn't say do it like that.
Right.
But they feel justified in what they're doing. And guess what? They had backup. They knew the Pharisees and scribes and everybody else said, yeah, let's get it. They didn't care about this, that he healed this man, been sick for 38 years. That wasn't going to be even the subject of that. Wasn't going to be brought up. You broke the law. And you in trouble.
Right.
And I'm going to get you. I've been wanting to get you anyway, but now I really got you. They've been trying to get Jesus since he's been spreading the gospel. Amen. They've been trying to get him for a long time, so they say, we got him now. But Jesus knew what he's doing when he told that man, take that bed and walk. He knew they was going to go get them. He knew they were going to tell on him. So this is what Jesus did. And the Bible said, but Jesus answered. So he asked, they said, and therefore did the Jews persecute Jesus and sought to slay him because he had done these things on the Sabbath day. And this is what Jesus, now we get ready to see why God told Jesus to go to this place, heal this man, tell that man to pick up his bed and walk. This is the plan of God. We get ready to read the plan of God, and at this appointed time, because God, spiritual clock, there's a spiritual clock in heaven, and the spiritual clock is perfect. And every time Jesus done something, it was perfectly timed for him to do it.
That's right.
He's fulfilling Bible prophecy. The Bible is in simplicity, and if you just follow and see what it says, you will see Jesus fulfilling Bible prophecy. That's what his whole life was all about. And the purpose of him fulfilling Bible prophecy, so when he fulfilled Bible prophecy, he said, I tell you the truth. When Jesus said, I'm telling you the truth, he said, I mean that when I tell you the truth, because what you see me doing, I'm always doing for my Father, who always know what the truth is. And know when to do, how to do, the way to do. That's why I'm glad to have him on my side.
Yes, sir.
Because I don't know what to do, but he do, and he do all the time. So we see in John chapter 5, verse 17, look at Jesus explode on the scene. He said, but Jesus answered them. Now I want to say something before I go in. Jesus, the Pharisee always asks a question, but Jesus never answered the question. He said what he wanted to say. Every time you see when the Pharisee asks a question, Jesus never answered that question. He started talking about what he wanted to talk about. That's it. He was parable. Sometimes it was parable, but sometimes he didn't want to put it in parable. Sometimes he wanted, and that's good right now. But sometimes he wanted to let them know, this is what I said, this is what I meant, and I meant what I said. Do you understand? Okay, so sometimes and I'm glad you brought that up, because it's times he did speak in parable, but it's times he wanted to tell it like T-I-E, and he wanted to tell it like it is, regardless of whether they accept it or not. So thank you for saying that, y'all. Feel free to say whatever you want. But Jesus answered them and said this, my Father worketh here too, I work. And the Bible says, therefore the Jews sought the more to kill him, because and hear what they said here. He said, because he not only had broken the Sabbath, but said also that God was his Father, making himself equal with God. Are you kidding me? Now I want y'all to understand something. I would have been thinking like them too. I would have been saying, this man, you say you God, you broke, so don't get all like, oh, how could they think that? See, we know the story, they didn't. So all their life, you saying they making it, you're a man, and you making yourself equal with God, those are stoning. He should have been stoned right then and there. They should have stoned him. Ain't nobody came and said this. My Father working his too, and I work. What he's saying, whenever God working, I'm working. So if God is working, I'm working, that means we working together. That's bold as shit can get. Just, you looking at the man, the Bible said, no man seen God and live. So how can you say you God? Because if you God, then why we can look at you, we should be dead by now. So we got to look at them thoughts and their way of thinking, and that's the way we would have been thinking too if we had been raised up like this. How bold can you be? Are you kidding me? You already broke the Sabbath, and now you sitting up here breaking the Sabbath, and you say you God, and God gave the Sabbath. So if you God, you gave the Sabbath, why are you breaking God's law and then you say you God? Right? Okay, so he's saying this. Yeah, am I right? If you God, you're going to obey God's law. And if you God, you made the law, so why are you breaking the law? Come on, let's see where they had in their mind. So they got a right to be mad and want to kill this man. We know who he is. They don't. They think he's a crazy nut, a fruitcake, and they don't even care if he's healing people. All I know is you're talking crazy. So we got to look at where they at in their mindset. And we would have been thinking something similar like that too. You talk about you God. And so he said this. Therefore the Jews sought the more to kill him, because he not only had broken the Sabbath, but said also that God was his Father, making him equal with God. Watch this. Now, Jesus knew exactly what he said. Now you would think, most people when they get somebody that mad, you get somebody so mad want to kill you, you don't want to push it, right? He said, well, wait a minute, I better back off here, because they looking pretty angry. Because you got to remember, looking at their faces, when you want to kill somebody, it show up in your face before you even speak out of your mouth, right? I mean, they had the look of a killer on their face. They go, I want to take this man out. And so what Jesus do? Jesus said this, and then Jesus answered them again. He never answered the way they want to hear it. So what did Jesus do? The Bible said, then answered Jesus and said unto them, verily, verily. You know what verily, verily means? That means you better, I'm getting ready to tell you something, and you need to hear every word I'm getting ready to say. I don't want you to miss one word of what I'm saying, because I'm not studying here. What I'm getting ready to say, that's what I mean. What I mean, that's what I said. So he was telling them, now they're already mad. They're already angry. They're already upset. And now he's telling them, focus. You think I just focus on what I'm getting ready to say right now? So this is what he said. Verily, verily, he said, all y'all standing around, pay attention. This is what I'm going to say next. I say unto you, the Son can do nothing of himself, but what seeth the Father do, for what things soever he doeth, these also doeth the Son likewise. He's saying this, yeah, y'all saying that I'm God, and he said, yeah, I am God. He's even more so saying, because I don't do nothing unless God do it, and God tell me what to do and how to do it, the way to do it, because we're working together as one. So he's even more emphatically trying to drive the point across that he's God. I'm God. I'm God. That's who I am. And God is inside of me, and I'm a human being, but I'm just as much a human being as I am God. So he's literally telling these Pharisees and scribes that I'm God. I would have been looking at him like, yeah, right. Now you really messing up here. But Jesus didn't back down one word, at one time, because let me make something clear. When you're in the plan of God, and God is in charge of your life, nobody can touch you.
That's right.
Nobody can kill you.
That's right.
Nobody can take you off this earth until God is finished with the plan that he has for you to achieve.
Amen.
And Jesus knew that his time was not up.
That's right.
Jesus knew that he was going to carry that plan from the beginning in. And why? Because Jesus had not fulfilled every prophecy.
That's it.
Jesus wasn't going to go nowhere until he got on the cross and said this, it is finished.
That's it.
What he's saying is, now I'm through. Now I'm ready to go. And when I'm ready to go, y'all ain't going to take my life. The Bible said, I laid down my life. Y'all ain't taking nothing. I'm giving up. You know why? Because it's time for me to go. And I'm fulfilled and done everything I needed to do. And so that's why Jesus knew who he was, and he wasn't afraid of no man. The Bible said, don't be afraid of one destroy the body. Be afraid of one destroy the body in the soul. And the Bible also said, God said, I'd rather obey God than man. And Jesus said, I'm always led by the Father. So then he said this. After he got through saying that, in verse 20 he said this, for the Father loveth the Son. And who showeth him all things that himself doeth. He's emphatically driving the point across again. He's constantly telling them the reason God showed me these things, because he loved me. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. God sent his Son into the world to free the people of the world, and Jesus loved God so much, and God loved Jesus so much that he was willing to do whatever he needed to do to save us. And the Bible said when Jesus went on the mountain of transfiguration, and Peter, James, and John was up in the Mount of Transfiguration, the Bible said a cloud came. They was up on that mountain of transfiguration talking to Moses and Elijah. And Peter, James, and John was looking at him, and the Bible said Jesus started glowing like the sun.
That's right. That's right.
Jesus started glowing like the sun. He just literally glowing like the sun. And then they said they heard a cloud. They seen a cloud come through there, and they heard a voice out of the cloud that said these words. This is my beloved Son. Hear ye him. What he's saying is, this is my Son. Every word that he said, you better listen to it. You know what that said? That said only God would tell somebody to listen to every word, because every time they speak, they have to speak perfect.
That's right.
Only God can speak perfect and open his mouth up and speak perfect all the time, right? So what God is giving this man, who they don't know who he is, that he is God, saying, this is my Son. Everything he said out of his mouth, you better listen to it. What he's saying is, I'm giving them the words to say. And when I give him the words to say, and when he's speaking, whatever he speaks, he's speaking for me, because he is my Son and he is me, and I'm God. And God is me, God, and he's God. And the proof of it is that in the beginning was what?
The Word.
Was the Word. And the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Jesus became the Word, and Jesus became, who was God, became the Word, which became a human flesh. And Jesus said that, the Bible said, God and Jesus became one. And they're always Father, Son, Holy Spirit. They're one, but yet they're three. Right. You ain't got to try to figure it out. You know why? Because only God can be three in one. That's so right. You got to leave it alone. Amen. Amen. So he said this, for the Father loveth the Son and showeth him all things that himself doeth, and he will show him greater works than these things, that ye may marvel. He said, the Father, he showed me a lot of things. And what he's saying is, you ain't seen nothing yet.
That's right.
He's just beginning his ministry. Right. Jesus know everything he get ready to do. He said, you marveling now? You think this is something you see? You wait till I get through. When I get through, you're going to see even greater works than this. And what he's saying is, if you keep watching me, after a while, you're going to say, he must be God. So that's what he said. Yeah. He's putting his resume out there even before he did it. Right. Because Jesus knew that when he got through with his mission, the only conclusion you can come up with, there's no way you can say that Jesus was just a man.
Ain't no way.
There's never been a human being came on the face of the earth. They said there have been over 107 billion people that have been born since Adam and Eve. And there ain't been nobody came near to what Jesus did in the 3 years than Jesus came nowhere near. You know why? Because he wasn't an ordinary man.
That's right.
Jesus was God.
Amen.
That's the only conclusion you come.
Amen.
Because when you compare him to man, there's no comparison. For what he did, the Bible said he did so much that the Bible said if you wrote down everything he did in the books, he said the books would fill up the whole world. Now you know what's so incredible about that? Is this. He did all that in 3 years. He didn't do all that. He did all that incredible, amazing stuff in 3 years.
That's right.
Only God could do that. And there's so many things he did. The Bible said if you wrote it down, each thing that he did, the books will fill up the whole world. Now, I'm going to tell you what's so sad about that. And that is this. That means a whole lot of people seen a lot of things that weren't even written in his Bible. And that's including the Jews, the Pharisees, and the scribes. They seen miracles that hasn't even been written in his Bible. And us, and our stubborn self, in our flesh, is blinded to all those incredible miracles that there were so many that they couldn't even count.
That's right.
And they still will not accept this man for who he was.
Even today.
And you know what that said? That's why he told Nicodemus, unless you be born again, you can understand the things of the Spirit. So the Bible says even when the last days come, Jesus is walking around and they say, and he's God himself, and they're going to church every Sunday, and they reading about exactly how Jesus was going to be acting, so you will know that who he is, and they still don't know who he is.
That's right.
That's blindness at its best. The Bible said they're blind. They need a physician. They can't see. And guess what? In the last days, there's going to be a lot of people going to be blind just like that.
That's right.
That right now, it's a whole lot of things going on in this world, and spiritual people see it and aware of what's going on, but religious people can't see it. Traditional people can't see it. It should be an explosion of warning. Say, do you see what's going on? Pastors should be screaming, do y'all see what's going on? Because when you see certain things that's happening in this world, and you see it in the Bible, that's a warning sign from God. But the Bible said you won't be able to see it because the Bible said it's going to be many that are going to fall away. That's right. And then he said how they're going to fall away? There's going to be a lot of false prophets, preachers, and teachers show up, and they say they'd rather believe a lie than God. That's what they said. And the Bible said what God going to do next is this. He's going to send a strong delusion. You know what a delusion is? A delusion is something that's tricky. But if God said he going to send, you know, if he would just say delusion, that would have been something. But him sending a strong delusion, God, it's going to be so many people deceived. But the Bible said if it was possible, it would fool the very elect. Now this is what this means. The elect going to right away know what's going on.
That's right.
Because you can't fool the, who's the elect? The elect are those that read the Bible and they're getting in tune to what all how God works and everything you do. So the elect going to be able to see and understand exactly what's going on. But to the world, it's going to be a strong delusion. They're going to be totally confused. And we're going to be looking like, why are they confused?
Yes.
Don't they know what this is all about? But they can't see it. They can't see it. It's just like a child. When a child, you try to tell a 5-year-old how you pay the rent. You go to work and then you try to explain. The child will get some of it, but the child will never know what you're really talking about.
Yes.
And that's what that strong delusion going to be like. So he said this. He said, for as the Father raises up the dead, now he don't what you call, to them hearing it, gone crazy. Because he's taking it to a level that's mind-boggling. He said, for as the Father raises up the dead, and the word quicken it here means gives life to them, even so the Son gives life to whom he will. Oh my goodness. What this man just said, they only see him as a man. They don't see him as Jesus. No. We understand what's going on. He said, just like God can raise up the dead, he said, I can raise up the dead just like my Father.
That's right.
I can do anything God do, I can do.
That's right.
I can raise up the dead. And they standing there listening to this man speak. And if he wasn't on the mission for God, he would be dead by now.
Right.
And I guarantee you ain't nobody been able to talk to the Pharisees and the scribes this long talking what they call blasphemy. You know what blasphemy means? Blasphemy means you deserve to die for every word that come out of your mouth. And these are words that the Pharisees and scribes see as blasphemy. This man is claiming that he's God, but now he don't only claim to be God. He said, I can raise up the dead just like God can. What God do raising up there, he said, I got the power to do it too. The Son has the same power. And so then he goes this far. You notice he studies turning the heat up on this. Okay? And then verse 22 says this. For the Father judgeth no man, but have committed all judgment unto the Son. Wait a minute. God's supposed to be the judge of every man. He said, he don't release that to me. I become the Son. You know why? Because the Bible calls Jesus the Son of God. So he's the now over us, and God don't gave him the power to be over us, to judge us, because he is the one that's setting the example. He's the way, the truth, and the life. And so he's saying, you got to do it exactly like I say do it, and I'm going to judge you if you don't. And God gave him the power to do that because he came down to this earth as a human being. So now we don't have no excuse because we've seen a human being doing things from the position of a human being, so we can understand better how God works. And so Jesus is saying, God is saying, if you don't listen to him and do exactly how he said do it, he got a right to judge you. Because he said, the Bible said God is invisible. Okay, no man has seen God, but Jesus has become the human form of God. He's not all of God. And what I mean by that, so you can understand this. When God said, you can't look at God, no man can live, what he's saying is, Jesus has all the power of God, but all his essence of who God is, he has not released that. Because if he released all the essence of who God is, nobody wouldn't be able to listen to him. So he has all the essence of who God is, but he don't release it, all that essence of who God is as a human being, but all that's in there. In the Old Testament, when God would show up, he would come to the tent, what you call the tabernacle. And when he show up, he show up in a cloud. And you hear thunder and lightning, and you see smoke, and that's how you knew God was there. And even people said back in the Old Testament they said no man can look at God and live. That's why they couldn't go into the tent, the tabernacle, because if they went in there, they're going to die.
That's right.
They're going to die. So Jesus is all of God in all his essence. He's never been nothing but that. But he's also a human being. Now, how do you explain this? You don't. Because only God, a perfect God, a God can do anything and everything he wants. The Bible said, is there anything too hard for God?
No, it's not.
He said, with God, all things are what?
Possible.
All things are possible. So you got to take that from your imperfect human being thoughts and thinking like a little baby. He said, unless you become as a child, you shall no wise enter the kingdom of heaven. So all we got is childish ways every time we look at God. And from all eternity, we're going to be children trying to continue learning about who God is.
That's right.
And so Jesus is letting them know this is God in the flesh. But this is also flesh, but I'm God. And so he went on to say this in verse 23. And the Bible said, in Isaiah, he said, do you believe? Jesus asked the question, do you believe? See, it's a lot of people that don't want to be saved and don't want to live for God. And the reason they say they don't want to live for God is because this. They don't want to let God be in charge of their life because they want to keep living doing what they're doing. So I guarantee you, people that don't want to live for God, they're going to say, well, why God? Why this is going on? They always ask questions and say, well, you can't answer the question. I knew there ain't no God. See, but the Bible said God declares his glory. And what God said, my glory, he said, you can look around and see me everywhere. Right. Everything that is existing. Let me tell you something. This earth is standing on nothing.
You're right.
Somebody did it.
Somebody had to do it.
In the beginning.
God created the heavens.
Was in the beginning, and God created the heavens and the earth. There it is. Whether you want to accept it or not, don't matter. But he got a whole book right here saying who he is. You see all these thousands and thousands of pages? God trying to convince man who he is. The Bible said a fool has said in his heart, there's no God. And once you become a fool, you know what happens to your mind? It becomes reprobated. And you know when your mind becomes reprobated, that means it's impossible for you to believe God and who he is. Your life is over. It's just a matter of you dying and going to hell. Because God releases you to whatever you believe. And so God is saying this, as I go back to this, God is saying this. All I'm offering you is the greatest blessing you can ever receive in your life. And you're trying to figure out how not to believe it? There's something wrong with your brain. You don't lose your mind. That's why Jesus said you're sick, you need a physician. God is saying, look at everything I'm offering you. I want to take care of you forever. And what man is doing, I don't believe this stuff. It's almost like they saying, you know, I hear you all the stuff you offer me, but I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. And the reason I want it because they want to do it their way. And guess what? That's why the devil got kicked out of heaven.
That's right.
Because the devil wanted to do it his way. And that's why he gone. And the reason he's messing with us because he's been to heaven and he know how good it is.
Go back ever.
He know how wonderful it is. And he know he could never, ever go back again. So you know why the devil doing what he did? Well, just like the devil, you act like the devil. Well, I can't go. I'm going to see if I can get as many people as I can to go to hell with me.
That's it.
Because hell was not made for man. But the devil saying, because he called the great deceiver. He deceived people, tricked people. He don't want you to know how great this blessing, tremendous blessing is. So he going to work as hard as he can. And all he's working to do is say, I can't go to heaven. I'm going to make sure as many people as I can don't go either. I can't get in. I'm going to make sure anybody that listen to me get in. And how is he going to do it? He said, I'm going to use three things. Kill, steal, and eventually I'm going to destroy your life for all eternity.
That's it.
And you're going to be in hell. And the devil's going to be in hell. The Bible said the devil and his demons, they be laughing at the people in hell. Because he knew they got him. And they just wanted the torture and torment of going to hell. The devil will constantly remind you how many times you got a chance to go to hell and you listen to me. Yep. And that's going to be part of the torment. Because you got to remember the rich man saying he remembered his brothers. Remember that? Remember we was preaching on that? The rich man said, can I go back and tell my brother? So his mind is on what happened in the world. And what he went through. But his mind ain't all that wealth he had. This man is on how many times he had a chance to go to heaven and not come to this place. He said, can I go back and tell my brothers about this place? Because I don't want them to come. So we just got a little taste of what's going on. So here's the simple truth here. God is literally the God of the universe, can have anything and everything all he wants. Begging me, please listen to me. I want to bring you to the greatest place that could be in existence called heaven. That's my home, and I want to make you happy forever. Now, you want to know how sick your brain is? You'll be saying, people don't heard that over and over again, and they still walk out that door and go do what they want. That's why Jesus said, you need to have a born again experience so you can remove that flesh that want to do everything and want all he want, and no matter how much you offer, that flesh still want it right now. And so Jesus needs to come just like the devil came, come in our life and make us do things. Jesus will come in your life, and if you really know how wonderful this treasure is, how magnificent this treasure is, you will look at it and you will add it up and you will count the cost and say, it ain't nothing worth me missing out on heaven.
That's right.
And then this is what's so deep about, God gave me a lot of time to mess up. I had years. How about y'all? I had years of God just allowed me to mess up. I look back at all the mess up I did, and it could have been gone and gone forever. And now that God gave me the light and let me see the light, and for me, after I got the light, slap God in the face like that. And say, okay, I know the truth now. Okay, I know everything, but I'm still going out there doing it. God is saying, I can't help you now. When Jesus said it's finished, God said, I don't give you God can't give you a greater treasure than himself in everything he owns.
Amen. Amen.
That's what he's doing. And he said, matter of fact, you don't ever have to do the work because Jesus is doing the work. All you have to do is just keep going and believing and live the life. And I can look inside your spirit and see you making that effort to make it in. And you know who else finished that off? Jesus finished all the rest off. So you can make it in.
That's right.
And the world is saying, well, he said this generation will come. Saying, I don't want to have nothing to do with that. You know why? Because the preachers, you know what they preach? They ain't preach about going to heaven. They preach about you're going to get you a Mercedes, you're going to get you a car, you're going to have a whole lot of stuff, you're going to be prosperous. You see what the Bible says, you're prosperous? You see what you're going to get? And that's why Jesus said, what good would it be to gain the whole world and lose your soul? Get everything. So he got it as simple as possible. And so we need to be in a position where the Bible says, deny yourself. Take up your cross and follow you. Why did Jesus say deny yourself? Because we're a bunch of cuckoos. We're crazy. Right. We don't know how to make good decisions. We don't know how to make godly decisions. Right. There's no good thing that dwells in this flesh. You know, I know that because I live in it every day. And I'm worn and I'm in a battle with this flesh every day. And I want to go to heaven more than the breath I breathe. Okay. But I messed up today. Okay. And I don't like it. And I can't wait to get out of this body that always want to mess up. Paul said, when I want to do right. Evil is right there with me. Evil is right there with me. It's a battle. But David is a perfect example. No matter what he did, he kept chasing God. I'm going to do what David did. I'm going to keep chasing God. Thank God for Jesus. Got all my sins covered. I thank God, but I want to do more than just because he got my sin covered. I love this life. Yes. I love what God is causing me to be, like Christ. I want to be pleasing in the sight of God and man. But I always want to please God first before man. And so this is an awesome, wonderful life because it gives me peace, it gives me rest, it gives me joy. And one of the things the Lord told me, he said, just make it through the 24 hours. Don't be anxious for nothing. Now, just make it through the 24 hours. You know how I make it through the 24 hours? I read the Bible. I pray. I talk to the Lord. Yeah. I'm a fanatic for wanting to go to heaven. And I'm a witness. I ain't got a lot of time. We certain elders, we call elders, we might be looking at my 5 more years. You think I got time to play? No, sir. When you reach a certain age after that, you can still live here because when them people went over there to El Paso, Texas, They young people, all kinds of different levels here.
That's right.
But when God lets you reach a certain age in your life, if it's any time you should have your life together, when we know we're coming down to the end of our life.
Right.
If any time we need to be praising God like never before, getting ready to end eternity is now.
That's right.
Because we're at that age where whether we know it or not, it can show up anytime, any place for everybody.
Right.
But when you're an older person,
Yeah.
even more so, it can happen.
Yeah.
So getting older means you better recognize, because the Bible said, he that endured till the end. I took note of that. He said, he that endured till the end shall be saved. What God is saying is, you gotta, something you started, you gotta finish. You don't start the race and get out and just say, no, I'm still going to heaven. That's what he's talking about, he that endured till the end. And the reason he can say that, because if you love God more than anything, it's a pleasure for you to finish the course. At the end of the course, you said, I'm ready to go like Paul. My time has come.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I've been ready. I've been ready, but I'm just doing the work. Now my course is finished.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Ready to go.
And that's where our mind needs to
Thank
be.
you,
I'm
Father.
just went somewhere the Lord done took me everywhere. Yeah, you got a reason. Let's see, we get a few more verses. Help me, Jesus. I want to go to heaven. I want to walk those streets paved with gold. I want to see God for myself. What you say, son? Yeah, that's it. That's it. Come on, that's it. That's what he do. What he do it like this. I mean it. When I wake up in the morning, you know the first thing comes to my mind, I say, Lord, I love you. I sure want to go to heaven. I want to make it in. I want to see you face to face. I want to see your Chicana go. I want to walk those streets paved with gold. He said, as a man thinking his heart, so is he. So he said this, for the Father judges no man, but has committed all judgment unto the Son. He don't turn everything over to Jesus. And then he said that all men should honor the Son.
Yeah.
Now, just in case, Jesus said, just in case y'all ain't getting this, just in case y'all ain't really understand what I'm trying to say here. And he's constantly saying more and more, me and God are one.
Yeah.
Almost every verse he said, he's saying, me and God are one. How bold is that? He said this, that all men should honor the Son even as they honor the Father. Are you kidding me? The only way I can honor the Father, you got to be God.
That's right.
No way I'm going to honor you and God and the Father. Are you crazy? And they had the right to be thinking like that. Am I right? They didn't know any better. We know because we got to know in Old Testament back in the day when Jesus first said this, I would have been standing in line with them and saying, yeah, he is crazy. Because that's what we would have done. But see, Jesus also right. But Jesus also did this. After he finished saying what he's saying, he proved after he says what he said, he'll tell them where to go to find out that what he said, that he's the real deal. So Jesus never leave you hanging. So he's saying after Jesus said all this, then he's going to say, well, if you don't believe me, and I ain't got to it, but I'm going to say it. He said, everything I said, go search your Old Testament. Go search the stuff you study in church. He said, go search it. And every time you see him talking about me, and if you watch me, you'll say, he's fulfilling, that's Jesus. Because everything Jesus did, he was fulfilling the Old Testament. God don't want nobody to be lost and blind. And all he asked, when he even told, I think that was Abraham, he said, it's going to come a man that could come, a prophet that going to come. He said, you better tell the ancestors, you better listen to him. And he was talking about Jesus. They said in the Old Testament, listen, if they would have went back to the Old Testament and would have and read this. Now they could have read this in the Old Testament. It said this. Thank you, honey. Here's a verse in the Bible that proving that Jesus say who he is. In Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6, it said these words. Isaiah is a prophet. And he's saying before Jesus come on the scene that it's going to be somebody, he's going to be a child. He's telling you how he's going to show up. He's telling you what he's going to grow into be. It's right here before he even show up. That's what I tell you, Jamaica. Everything that Jesus did, it's written down. And you can look back in the Old Testament, and he did exactly what those prophets that God spoke through said he did. Listen to what it said in Isaiah 9, verse 6. He said, for unto you a child is born. Let you know that this person going to come in like a child, right?
Yeah.
He come in a child. That means a baby. A child is born. Somebody born, that means they come from the mother's womb.
Right.
This is what Isaiah, and Isaiah is one of the greatest prophets that ever lived. And Isaiah spoke this and never seen it.
Yeah.
But Isaiah knew the voice of God. Isaiah knew exactly when God told him something, he would write it down. And so he said, until a son is given. So, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, meaning he's going to take over everything. Everything. He's going to take over everything. The government, everything. He's going to be able to be in charge of everything, all things. He'll be able to have power over everything. And then he said, shall be upon his shoulder. And his name, and this is what he said, this child name going to be. All they have to do is go back and read this. He said he's going to be, the name shall call Wonderful Counselor. Then he said this, if you didn't understand this, he said this child going to be the mighty God. What he's saying, this child that come out of the mother's womb, he going to be God. There he is. There is he saying it. He said he's going to be God. And that the everlasting Father, there he is. He's going to be God, the everlasting Father. You know what the everlasting Father is? God is the everlasting Father because God is always being existent. So he said that child that come into this world, he's going to be God, he's going to be Father. He's going to be the one that's been around, as him and God don't been together all this time. There it is. And he's going to be the Prince of Peace. And then he said, in another verse, in verse 7, verse 14, they could have read this. He said, behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. You know what Emmanuel means? Emmanuel means God with him. Saying that this son, God with him, means God, and that son going to be one. They could have read that, and they would have known that this was this man. And all they had to do was just keep seeing this view, fulfilling Bible prophecy, because that's what I would do. I would say, okay, you God, you said go read the Old Testament. Let me go back, and I'm going to start writing down. And when you do something, I'm going to look it up in the Old Testament. And, okay, he's right there. Yeah, okay, keep going. Okay, he's right there. Okay, keep going, keep going. And all that Jesus did, he fulfilled every prophecy in the Old Testament.
Yes, he did.
Every last. And you know what the odds of filling 3 prophecies, the odds are beyond measure. But when you can fulfill 9 prophecies, it's impossible. They said Jesus fulfilled 331 prophecies.
Yes, he did.
Which is impossible. Only God can do that.
Only God can do it.
Jesus fulfilled 3, and he's still going to fulfill more. So they said the numbers of Jesus fulfilling 331 prophecies, they said there's no number on it.
Ain't no number.
It's so much proof in this Bible that Jesus said he is, that it's so much proof we can't even see it. And the reason we can't see it, because until you become a born-again experience, and one of the greatest mistakes, this is why I'm always talking about religion and tradition, and that is this. One of the greatest mistakes you can make, letting religion and tradition be working in your life. You will never know who Jesus is, because that's who the Pharisees and scribes were. They were religious, and they was tradition. And Jesus stood right before them, and they didn't even know who he was. They going to church every Sunday. You know, there's a lot of people going church every Sunday. There's a lot of people reading the Bible and praying. And the Bible says they have a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. You know what that means? That's called religious tradition. But when you have more than a form of godliness, meaning you have a relationship with Jesus Christ and who he is, what will happen is this. Jesus will do this. He'll reveal himself to you. Do you know God wants to reveal himself to me? That's why he sent the Son to die, so I can know who he is, and so I can give God all this he wrote in the Bible as I'm going here is so he can reveal himself to me, so I can come with him and go home and be with him.
That's it.
A, B, C,
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. He said it something up this way. Make me want to cry. God loves us so much, and we don't rejected him. over and over and over and over again. We don't slap you in the face that one day God said, I'm going to be so angry when I come down, I'm coming down and I'm burning up everything on this planet Earth. And everybody else getting out and going to hell. And I'm getting my people out of here. And that's how everything going to come to an end. This is coming to an end, y'all. It's in Revelation. And the end has already spoken. Remember I was speaking about Sunday? Sunday said certain people going to be here in this generation. They're here. I'm watching on TV today. The madness and craziness that's going on TV is getting worse. More and more. That's a sign. God said, I'm on my way. Father, thank you. You just poured out like water.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
And you had a reason. And I thank you that we heed everything that's been spoken. And Lord, I pray for everybody that they would fall in love with you, God.
Yes, Lord.
Fall in love with you so much that they let nobody or no one stop them from getting to you. Father God, it should be the Christian #1 top priority in the generation we living in the signs of the time. They say, oh my goodness, it's almost getting close to the time for God to come get his children. And we need to be excited about that. And the world needs to be frightened. So Lord, thank you. I just want more of you. I'd rather obey God than man anytime. No man can raise me up but Jesus. You are my greatest friend. And I want more and more of you. And I pray that all the saints hunger and thirst and want more of you like never before. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen.